I'm Brian Westbrook with GeekWire Studios here at AWS reInvent 2025 in Las Vegas, joined now by the head of AI architecture for Dataiku, Jed Dougherty. Jed, you just won an award. This is pretty exciting stuff. AWS Healthcare and Agentic AI Competencies. How does that boost your work with AWS for healthcare AI?
Healthcare is a really special field, right? In many ways, healthcare is about making big bets with the lives of people. That makes it pretty high stakes. So when we're injecting AI, and especially agentic AI, into that world, we need to be really careful, but there's huge opportunity. So Dataiku's success in being able to do this on top of AWS capabilities is really all about that. We want to govern the capabilities that we're rolling out so that human lives are affected only in a positive way.
What are some of the concerns? Obviously, healthcare has regulatory issues and privacy issues. What are other concerns that play into this, especially when you're talking about using AI?
So, pharma is a great example here. Pharma, essentially, I mentioned earlier, big bets. Pharma is trying to find one good molecule every 10 years, basically. That's the fundamental concept, right? Now, finding that molecule and then bringing it to production are two very different things. You can find something great, but then you still have to bring it all the way through clinical trials, testing, approvals, government sign-off, and then bring it out to a populace who you need to some way sell it to. AI can be injected all across this entire process, from drug discovery to clinical trial simulation to helping doctors and patients understand which drugs are right for them. We try to help folks across that entire line, both with big bets in agentic AI, but also in regular AI. There's sort of a challenge right now where everybody's so excited about agents, right? But we can't throw away the 50 years of AI, however you might want to define it, that healthcare has already been leveraging. We shouldn't have Gen AI making predictions. We should have existing machine learning models do that. We shouldn't have Gen AI performing statistical analysis of clinical trials. We should have the existing operations do that. So a successful tool in this space is one that can, yes, leverage these new agentic capabilities, but still maintains the underlying roots and the underlying investments that have been made over the years.
And a lot of these investments have come with hurdles, particularly for healthcare. What are some of those hurdles, and what have you done to help overcome those?
So, governance is a huge hurdle. If I'm going to be dealing with human being data, I need to make sure that I'm being responsible with that data. And now we're adding this whole new thing in where we're potentially sending that data out to third-party agentic or Gen AI providers. We need to make sure that that is very, very closely controlled. So one thing that Dataiku does really well there is we provide what we call guards. Anytime you have your data sitting somewhere, your customer, your patient data, before we send it to an LLM, we make sure that PII detection has been imposed. We make sure that toxicity detection is imposed on any responses. We make sure that prompt injection is being tracked so that people aren't getting access to data they shouldn't. And I think that is a very critical component to any type of healthcare initiative.
Now, trust, you mentioned, big concern, AI in healthcare. What are 3 decisions that the CIOs need to be thinking about when it comes to 2026, moving forward?
CIOs need to be thinking about, A, where their data is. You're probably moving that data to a cloud now. How are you controlling access to that data? So it's where it lives, where the access is, and then what you're going to be doing with it. There's been sort of a stasis over the last 18 months that is we've kind of stabilized at a agentic capability in which we started with these very general agents, basically like, oh, I can ask about my HR data, and then it's going to return a response. And then we got a little fancier where it's really an expert in the room providing advice to you. But now we're trying to move to the place where agents are actually automating full processes. And how am I going to use my customer data to actually automate processes? When is it okay to use patient data? When is it okay to have a automated process making a decision about a patient? Who is liable for that decision? Is it the model? Is it the model provider? Is it the CIO who signed off on it? should they ever be able to make decisions about patients? These are the things that CIOs need to be thinking about as they roll these things out in 2026. Because we're moving from advice to decisions.
Right.
And that's a huge difference.
That's a big leap, and of course you need to do that responsibly. You mentioned the guards. Is that your top concern? Is making sure that the guards are there, or is it moving with the right pace to be responsible?
Well, I think having guards in place makes it so you can move faster. I know that might sound a little antithetical, but having confidence in what you're deploying to production means that you can deploy more things. If you're scared every single time and you're doing it for the first time each time, then everything's just going to go a lot slower. So governance, guardrails make you go faster.
What are you hearing from your customers here at AWS reInvent? What are they asking you for? How are they challenging you?
So the biggest thing that I'm hearing from my customers here is everybody is building agents across tons of different third-party platforms, or they're using the native agents of Salesforce or AWS or wherever you might have it. They want to have a single place to be able to keep track of all these agents and in some way provide HR for these agents.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear that basically everyone I talk to.
It's an interesting conversation and it's an interesting challenge, and I look forward to seeing how you solve that. Jed, thanks for taking the time. I'm Brian Westbrook with GeekWire Studios. Thanks for watching.